One image can stop the internet in seconds, and in Hollywood, it doesn't take much to turn curiosity into full-blown shock. When photos of Kelly LeBrock resurfaced showing her in one of her most daring and misunderstood fashion moments, the reaction was instant. People gasped, headlines exploded, and social media did what it always does: rushed to judgment before understanding the full story. But what really happened behind that moment everyone is talking about, and why does it still follow her decades later, like a shadow she never asked for? Before you assume this is just another celebrity scandal, there's something deeper waiting beneath the surface. This isn't only about a controversial photo shoot or a bold style choice. It's about a woman who once stood at the peak of fame, who stepped into Hollywood like a dream, and who slowly learned that fame doesn't just give, it takes. And sometimes it takes your privacy, your story, and even your right to be understood on your own terms. To understand the weight of that moment, you have to remember who Kelly LeBrock was in her prime. She wasn't just a model or an actress. She was a symbol of 1980s glamour, grace, and mystery. From weird science to high fashion campaigns, she carried an image the world adored. But behind the camera flashes was a life constantly under pressure, where every appearance could redefine her in ways she never fully controlled. And then came the moment that would later be replayed endlessly online. A photo shoot meant to be artistic, expressive, and boundary-pushing ended up being reduced to shock value by the public. What was intended as empowerment and creative freedom quickly became headline fuel. People didn't pause to ask why she chose it, what she was expressing, or what stage of life she was in. They just reacted. And in Hollywood, reaction often replaces truth. But here's what most people don't realize. Kelly wasn't chasing controversy. She was navigating reinvention. Like many stars who step away from the spotlight, she was exploring identity beyond the roles, beyond the expectations, beyond the version of her the world froze in time. That moment wasn't just about appearance. It was about reclaiming control in an industry that rarely allows it. Still, the emotional cost was heavy. Imagine living knowing a single image can define decades of your life. Would you feel free, or trapped in someone else's memory of you? That's the quiet conflict she carried, even as public attention faded and her life moved into quieter, more grounded chapters away from Hollywood chaos. And this is where the real shift happens in her story. Because over time, Kelly LeBrock chose something many celebrities struggle to accept: peace over perception. She stepped away from the noise, from the constant need to explain herself, and from the endless cycle of public judgment. In doing so, she reclaimed something far more valuable than headlines: her own sense of identity. The lesson hidden in this story is simple but powerful. Not everything you see is meant to be judged at face value. People evolve. Choices change meaning, and moments frozen in time rarely tell the full truth. Before you react to someone else's story, ask yourself, are you seeing their reality, or just a fragment designed to provoke a reaction? And maybe that's the final takeaway. Fame may preserve images forever, but it doesn't always preserve truth. And sometimes, the most powerful thing a person can do is walk away from how the world defines them and finally decide who they really are.